It's me. It's the RVE. That's right. I'm switching up the name on you. I'm back doing the HeelCast for the first time in almost 3 months. We are doing the news, and we are also talking the review for Impact Wrestling's homecoming pay-per-view from Sunday night, which was quite the hit from what I understand and have seen so far. With me is, I guess we should start calling this show the Hurls cast, because truthfully, I don't even know how to do it anymore. But the man who keeps the show going, Hurls, what's going on, my man?
Not too much. I hope everybody had a great week, great weekend. I hope everybody enjoyed the homecoming pay-per-view, and we got lots and lots of stuff to talk about tonight, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, no doubt. And, we got a new face or voice joining us. It's you may have heard her working with my man Larkin, but we have the Switch Babe with us here tonight. Switch Babe, what's going on?
Not much. Glad to be here. Glad to talk some Impact because I love Impact and have loved that company ever since the Asylum days. So, just to see them go back to the Asylum again and see that Ultimate X in the Asylum was just amazing. I had chills.
It was awesome. I've also been a fan since damn near day one, so it's nice to have another person who has been a fan this long, and that's kind of, the gist of the HeelCast. But, I know you said you're excited about doing this show, but have you heard this show? Like, we kind of suck. Are you sure you're that excited about doing it?
Well, I think I heard you guys do an interview with Killer Cross, and I think y'all did pretty good on that one.
I heard the RIV wasn't on there, so it sucked. But, the other interviews have been great. But, no, I'm just kidding. Impact is going to the edgier route, and I think we are the most edgy show out there covering Impact. But at some point tonight on the show, after we talk the news, before we get into homecoming, I gotta leave, which means we kind of need someone to stand in and kind of take over. And we have the Dick Justice of the podcast back, who we haven't seen in a while on TV, nor I don't think we've heard Dick Justice on the HeelCast in a while. So we've got the standby podcaster ready to stand in. What's up, man?
Oh, nothing much. I really enjoyed watching the homecoming pay-per-view. It was pretty good. I've also been a fan of Impact since day one. I remember their weekly pay-per-views. It was pretty awesome when they did those, but they've had some rough times. So hopefully they get it back, get going again.
Yeah, it's I guess it's a little bit harder for them. I think that the product, it kind of disappoints me how the ratings have really tanked, because I think the product is the best that it's been since, maybe 2009. But we just have not had the ratings, and obviously when we go into the news stories here, we'll talk about why they are on a different channel now, one that I had never heard of prior, and after finding out what the channel's about, I know why. But, before we do that, we can talk about the other shows to check out. Of course, check out my buddy BQ at the Impact Lounge. Check out our boy Kyle. Is it Total Nonstop Impact that Kyle's show is called?
Yeah, Total Nonstop Impact with Trent Zuberi.
I've been out of the game for a while here, but, Kyle is so awesome with his special effects, his editing, not special effects, but his editing, his sound effects, and plus he's great on the show. So check out Kyle. Of course, check out Larkin with his S&M Podcast. Hurls, are you doing anything extra anymore?
I'm still doing the retro review crew, but we're on a little hiatus. It takes a while to beat a video game here and there with the limited time I have. So we're on a little bit of a hiatus, but we're hoping at least for a new show pretty soon.
Awesome. So, of course, we got Robert Does Wrestling and then the Impact Bodega with Robert, Chef, and some other guy. I will say this about Chef. The guy cheats his ass off of fantasy football. The guy reaches for things to bash the Impact for, but he is chasing his dream. He's starting up his heel team 6 Wrestling, and I got to give him props. Chef is actually on their show, which they're calling The Blueprint, is in the blueprint for what they're going for. The guy's actually got James Storm booked. So props to Chef for doing big things. That's awesome, and it's nice to see someone giving James Storm something to do, because I missed that guy. So am I missing anyone else? I know the wrestling perspective with our boy Petey Williams and our good buddy Dennis. Anything else there that I'm missing, Hurls? It's been a long time.
You already said S&M with Larkin, the Impact Bodega podcast with Chef Jorge, and sometimes Larkin when he's feeling Latino, and Robert. Robert goes on there. Other than that, I think you got it pretty much covered.
Switch Babe, do you do anything other than coming on Larkin's show here and there?
I've done guest spots on other shows, and I think I'm going to start going on the Bodega one too.
We're on Latina. So, So I mean, check all that out. And I know with the HeelCast, look, I'm one of my New Year's resolutions is to keep doing this show more consistently than I was, and I have opportunities to watch Impact more now somehow. And I know, Hurls, you got an interview coming up soon. Are we keeping that one a secret as to who it is?
Yeah, I can say that we do have an interview. I'm not going to say who we got, but we do have Impact Wrestling superstar. He doesn't show up all the time, but he's got his own Twitch show. So that's going to narrow it down quite a bit. But he has his own Twitch show on the Impact channel. So we are going to be interviewing him this week. I'm looking forward to it.
And then, I'm hoping we'll get a HeelCast out this week after the debut on the Pursuit channel and Twitch app now, apparently. I'm hoping to get on that. I'm also trying to get Hurls and Larkin together to do the TNA 2008 review, talk, reminiscing shows. Those are some of my favorite things to do, so hopefully we'll get a lot more HeelCast product out, so look for us, and I'll try and plug us and promote us and shit, but I don't even know what my Twitter looks like at this point. So we're going to hop right into the news now. Hurls, you told me that last week you kind of gave your thoughts on it, but so Impact Wrestling is now off of Top TV, and they are on the Pursuit Network. I have Sling, I have Charter, or not Charter, but Charter Spectrum. Neither of us carry this Pursuit channel. Come to find out, so this is owned by Anthem, and it is a channel about hunting and fishing. And it was basically, I kind of read like a press release that said we hope that our viewers would find pro wrestling to be the kind of, I don't know, how did they say it? Basically, it was just like our viewers are a bunch of southern rednecks, and we think that this white trash that watches our programming will be into wrestling. Wrestling being the key word. Anthem owns them. I'll say this, like I told the guys on the show that I expected Impact to get picked up on was the Global Wrestling Network. So I guess it's a little bit better than I expected, but it's sad to look at the company that went so far and almost, did 2 million viewers at one point, has had like Kurt Angle, Sting, Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, like so many big names have came into this company. Jeff Hardy when he was at his peak, like so close to becoming competition to the WWE. Now be on a worse television network than not only Ring of Honor, but New Japan, Lucha Underground, MLW for Christ's sake, which is new. I mean, even this Cage Warriors show or whatever the hell it is on a better actual network than Impact, and that's sad. I'm sorry?
It's Ring Warriors, and they're on WGN. Yeah.
It's sad that they can get on that channel, but Impact can't. So it's Ring Warriors. Cage Warriors is like MMA. So it's really pathetic, and it's owned by Anthem. So literally the only people that wanted them were the company that owns them, and they put them on probably their shittiest channel. It sucks. It's a hard channel to get a hold of. Apparently, revenue-wise and whatnot, it's better for Impact. I'm embarrassed that they're look. I eat meat. I wish I could be a vegetarian because I love animals, but I can't. I love the taste of it. I fucking hate hunting. I could never do it if my life depended on it. I got better things to do than shoot an animal to make my dick feel bigger. I don't like anything about this channel. There's nothing about this channel that I like. I hate the fact that Impact design. Honestly, and I think the Impact dude said it best. The fucking Pursuit channel makes Destination America look like CBS. It's embarrassing and it's a low point. But I thank goodness there's Twitch. But Switch Babe, what's your thoughts on this one?
Well, first off, the day that they announced that it went to Pursuit, I was so upset that I almost cried because over the past couple of years, like I did take a little time off from Impact, you know, because there was that kind of that really dark period that it went through where we didn't know if it was going to survive or not. And I just had to take a break because it was just like my heart was getting too broke over the situation. And so I came back, and then, you know, I just started falling in love with all of these characters and all these storylines over the past couple of years since they've been on Pop TV. And it just broke my heart because me and my husband are cord cutters. And if you're a cord cutter, basically, you cannot get that channel unless you get that cloud TV service for $10 a month. And so I was heartbroken because I'm like, how am I going to see Cross, Rosemary, Allie, all these other amazing talent that, you know, that I've just fallen in love with? So I was upset. I was freaking out. And then I ended up even telling Cross on IG, I was like, the only reason why I got this cloud TV is because of you, dude. And so then they announced the Twitch deal, and as soon as they announced that, I went and canceled the cloud TV because I've had Impact Twitch. I've been subscribed to that for months now, and I love it because, you know, you can just go in there at random times and you can just watch classic stuff or whatever they have on. And not only that, this Twitch deal gives Impact a bigger reach than WWE has, because basically if you have internet or if you have a smartphone, you can watch Impact now. So they do have that bigger reach via that, and I think there was maybe that reason is maybe why they chose Pursuit, because they knew that Pursuit was owned by Anthem, and they knew that the rights wouldn't be exclusive to Pursuit, and they could put it on Twitch, and they could maybe reach more. Maybe that was part of the thought process behind it. Now that I've, you know, have the hindsight is 20/20 type thing, you know, like now you can kind of reverse engineer it and go back to see, okay, maybe this is why they did what they did. And I kind of understand it because that Twitch channel is so good for them. Like they get some views on that. So, you know, and now you can watch it anytime you want, full episodes, not edited down like, you know, WWE does with the Hulu episodes on their service. You know, to me, it's a good deal, and I think we're just going to have to wait it out until maybe they do build up a better rapport with the entertainment community and the television community, and maybe in a couple of years they will be able to get something better. You know, I think this is the year, like last year was a rebirth for Impact. It really was. It was the start of, you know, all of this, you know, just amazing storyline work. And now I think this is the year, 2019, where they really solidify it. And they say that, hey, we're Impact and we're here to make an impact and we're going to do it. So, you know, that's really my thoughts on it. And I just hope for the best. You know, like I said, I love Killer Cross. He is my favorite in the world besides Jay White right now. And I want to see him be able to succeed with this company because I really believe that they should put the Impact title on him because he has done so much good for that company. He has spiked interest. You know, the Final Hour special Impact they did that was themed around and centered around him, it spiked their freaking rating. People want to see him. People want to see Cross. And I think if done right, especially with what happened at Homecoming, they could put that title on him and people would love it. I mean, they had Nashville chanting "Kill Cross, kill" to close that pay-per-view out. Now, if that's not a monster that you want with your title, I don't know who is.
You know, when we'll get to the Standby Podcast guy in a minute, the one thing I did forget to mention is that apparently with using the Pursuit network or whatever, by choosing Pursuit, it gives them the opportunity to actually like upload their shows on YouTube, Twitch, all that. So apparently that is going to be a benefit. Also, if you have Roku, which my fiance and I have 2 Roku devices in our home, and actually a Roku TV, so that actually makes 3. You can download the Pursuit app. I haven't heard the best of things about the app, Hurls. I know you know a little bit about it, and you probably talked about it last week, but are you able to like watch Impact on the Pursuit app like at any time, or do you have to watch live only?
We will find out probably sometime next week, or we may find out this weekend. It's hard to say right now, but it seems like most of their shows are available on the app, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, and that's the case too. And also, so yeah, she kind of mentioned, and I kind of brought it too, but so they're going to be broadcasting at the same time on Twitch. Now, I noticed during the homecoming broadcast that Josh Matthews kind of saying the same stuff like I've been kind of preaching since I've been doing the show for 3 years now, is that it's time for us to give back to Impact like they're giving to us. And Josh Matthews had actually legitimately basically said that we've done a lot for you. Now it's time for you to show something to us and subscribe to Twitch, show how many homes that are actually tuning into Impact Wrestling and whatnot, and to actually like fucking do something. And that's what I've been calling out the fans for a long time. Now, granted, the past couple months, I've been one of those fans that can hardly tune in and is behind. That's the first time that's really happened for me. So I kind of put my foot in my mouth that I have a new outlook and I'm going to try. But here's the thing, too, is from what I understand, and this is what I heard in the chat room today, is that can we not, with the Twitch app, you have to watch it live. You can't watch it like on demand or broadcast later. Is that correct, Hurls?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. It seems like you got to watch it live. Not saying that they're not going to replay it, but they're not going to replay it probably for at least 10 days like they did when it was on Pop TV.
Yeah, or the Global Wrestling Network gets 10 days before it comes on there too, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so I mean that fucking sucks, to be honest. So look, I do sales for a living, which means I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and so basically, and I'm on the West Coast. So when this show airs at 10 p.m. Eastern time, I'm at work at 7 p.m. my time, so I can watch it on my phone. But if I get a customer in my store in my final hour that I'm open, that's going to prevent me from being able to watch it. Then, I'm driving home right as the second hour starts. That takes, a minimum of 10 minutes out of my day driving home. Granted, I'll keep it on my phone, but I don't want to be staring at my phone while I'm trying to drive. So, it's hard for me to catch it, and it'd be nice for it to be on demand where I don't have to watch it 10 days later, or I could watch it later that night, which was my intent. So, it really, when you can't record or DVR or get access to something, like the next day, or the +3 numbers that they talk about on television, that is not too accessible. So there's a lot of good, but there's also a lot of shittiness with it too. And I had never even heard of Pursuit before this fucking Impact deal got announced. Granted, I hadn't heard of Destination America prior either, and I had heard a little bit of Pop TV. But stand by. You've been standing by. What's your thoughts on Twitch and the Pursuit Network deal?
I think it's a good idea, but I don't understand why they went with Pursuit. I do understand why, but there's hardly anybody that has that channel or actually know about the channel. It seems like it's going to be good because they got the deal with Twitch, but as far as Pursuit, nobody knows about that channel. I have it, but I didn't know about it until Matt told me. Hurls, I didn't know about it until he told me about it. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that's never heard of that channel.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you say that, because it's on certain cable companies, it's really obscure. You have to have the highest package to get, but on Dish, DirecTV, and I think Uverse maybe, or maybe there's one other one, but it's on the basic, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah,
but it's
basic.
But yeah, like I said on last week's HeelCast, I said I had to look up on my DirecTV app. I was at work when this came through, and I had to look it up. Do I have this channel? And sure enough, I did. So I was pretty excited about that. So, but it's just kind of funny how it's all over the place as far as availability.
Yeah, and when my fiance and I, when we were saving up to move out and get into a bigger place for the two of us, we're going to be weighing the options with whether we just go with our Hulu and Sling and whatnot, and use our Fire Stick, or go on the Dish Network route. So, but the thing is for me, man, is I have followed this company since damn near day one. I buy their DVDs, even though I subscribe to the Global Wrestling Network, and I can get them on demand. So I have the physical copy. I've ordered all but one pay-per-view over the last, I don't know, since they cut the pay-per-views down to, and I'm not counting one night only, but since 2015. But I'm not going to pay any more on my fucking cable network to catch Impact. I'm sorry, this is kind of where I put my foot down, because we can only be, there's been so much heartbreak as as a fan of this company for so long, which is with the network deals and the failures and the almost closing and almost selling and whatnot, it's just like it beat me down. And it's like, I'm not going to fucking pay money to get some guy hunting channel, whether they have Impact or not. So it's nice that Twitch is there. There's TTV on if you got like a Fire Stick that's jailbroken where you can catch it, although I still can't catch last week's episode yet. So there's other opportunities. I just wish I could contribute to them, knowing that, hey, I'm and tuning in. It's as far as tuning in, folks used to tune in and see Mackenzie Mitchell as an interviewer. EC3 and her always had some pretty good chemistry, Eli Drake. But so Mackenzie Mitchell has departed from the company. To be honest with you, I could care less one way or another. I think she's a pretty girl. She did get at her job, but it's an interviewer. It's not like she's Mean Gene Okerlund, rest in peace. So standby guy, what you got on that?
Mackenzie Mitchell leaving?
Yeah.
I don't know why she left. I mean, I guess she just figured it time to go, but like we was talking about earlier, she wanted the job. She had to do so of course she was going to be okay with how Moose was treating her and stuff. So it's, to me, they have another person that does the interviews. She's pretty good too. So it's not really going to be a loss to them, but like she may be wanting to do other things. So good for her.
Did you say something about how Moose was treating her?
Yeah. Like
Did I miss something? Are we talking?
This is from a chat that we had earlier today, I guess.
Yeah.
Switch Babe, why don't you explain your situation there?
I just said that I didn't like that storyline where Moose was constantly hitting on her, and it just seemed to me like, I don't know the situation. I could be totally wrong on this. And I love Moose. I love him, and it's nothing on him. This is a total, like, a booking thing, So, the whole thing with just, her being harassed on the weekly from him, it was just like it was getting to be cringe after a little while. It wasn't, like, maybe once or twice it's funny, but, after a while it just gets old, and, like, I didn't like it. But then again, she could have been fully okay with it. I was just saying that was one thing that just I didn't like about her time there, and that I wish that backstage interviewers would be, a little bit more respected and treated a little bit better than, just being robotic eye candy that's just there to ask, oh, and what are you going to do with your match tonight? Let them have a brain. Let them have intelligence. And that's why I love Alicia Toot so much, because she can get in there with these interviews, like on her Ambi channel, and she can just have a conversation with these guys and get these guys to open up and talk about things that they otherwise wouldn't. And that translates into backstage interviewing skills as well. And I just love her. And I just hope that they bring her in full time, because as far as I remember, she's maybe done a couple of really northern U.S. Impact tapings and some Canada ones. But, maybe bring her in full time. Grab her up before AEW does, because I'm telling you, All Elite Wrestling is going to want her.
Mm-hmm. Hurls, what's your thoughts on Mackenzie's departure?
Well, she was kind of brought in as a friend of Dixie Carter, because I believe they had the same alma mater. I think Mississippi State, if I remember correctly.
Ole Miss.
Is it Ole Miss? Okay.
Yeah, they're Rebels.
Okay.
Yeah, they were Ole Miss.
Okay. So that's kind of how she was brought in. I don't know necessarily if she was a wrestling fan or if it was just kind of like a you're my friend, I'll give you a job type of deal. So, if she's getting out of the wrestling business for good, then, congrats to her and whatever she does. Because I do know that she did, she was basically doing the sideline interviews for Ole Miss. So, So she might be going back into sports. Who knows? But if her passion's not really into wrestling, then I think it's probably good that she's leaving, and it opens up for Alicia Tout to get all of the backstage interviews, and I'm fine with that because she's got a passion for the business, and she's dating Trey Miguel as well. So I'm fine with it. Yeah. They've been dating, I think, for a while now, but yeah, no, I mean, Mackenzie did good, though. She did good. I mean, for someone who has no wrestling background, she did good. She worked well, played off the wrestlers. She wasn't my favorite backstage interviewer, but she did a lot better than I expected.
Yeah, no doubt. I thought she did, especially given her background, she definitely improved as the job went. And I also, like, I think the Ole Miss football and stuff, if I remember correctly, like when she was brought in, it was saying like it was her goal to actually do football or some real sports. So I didn't think it'd be too long term, but she definitely held her on for what she was given, and props to her. So she definitely proved to be a decent hire by Dixie Carter. But best of luck to Mackenzie Mitchell in the future. Now, speaking of the future, it was mentioned just a few minutes ago about AEW, a.k.a. All Elite Wrestling, which is a thing. The son of the Jacksonville Jaguars, apparently like one of the richest men family in the entire world, is behind this thing with, is it Cody and the Young Bucks? That's the other...
Yeah,
the Young per se?
Yeah.
So this thing's been announced. There was like a press conference and a rally and all that. So this is in full effect, and I'm pretty sure the WWE actually seems to be a little bit scared. But so the Young Bucks, Cody... potentially Kenny Omega. A bombshell dropped today, so Y2J, Chris Jericho has signed.
They want Marty Skrull, too.
They did get him?
They're wanting to. He's not signed yet either.
And then apparently Adam Page, I guess that dude's improved since I last watched Ring of Honor, because that dude was boring as it gets. Well, the one that breaks my heart is Daniels and Kazarian. Are going to be part of All Elite Wrestling, but they've got a decent roster so far. And there's apparently an offer out there, so rumor has it that they went after the Lucha Bros, Phoenix, and offered them a bigger contract in Impact, who came back and gave them a better offer, but then rumor has it that All Elite Wrestling tripled the offer that Impact Wrestling gave them. Now, what this is basically Pentagon Junior and Phoenix would have to be exclusive to All Elite Wrestling if they do that, whereas with Impact, with their offer, they can go work other bookings where Impact gets a percentage. Basically, what they're doing now is I see those guys in MLW, and of course, they've been on Lucha Underground and whatnot. So, I really think this All Elite Wrestling thing is going to be... I don't know that Impact can the triple the salary of whatever they offered them, and I don't know, as much as I hate to say this because I love Pentagon Junior, that these guys are worth it, nor can they afford to match that, triple the offer, and even go bigger than that. I think these guys would be a big loss. We have a former world champ, guys who've been tearing it up match-wise, just challenged for the tag team belts. Hurls, your thoughts on this one?
When this thing was kind of first reported, I didn't really know what to think about it, and then the leaks started to come out that the Jacksonville Jaguars owner, Shad Khan, was involved in this somehow. And I'm like, well, if that's the case, then they're going to be pretty legit. Then there was more news that came out that Shad's son, Tony Khan, is a big wrestling fan. So it kind of all makes sense, and plus Shad owns the Jaguars, and he also owns a Premier League soccer team. So I knew, like, wow, this is pretty big. I mean, this is similar to when TNA had the backing of Panda Energy and their endless checkbook. But I think they announced some pretty big names their first day. They got Pac, a.k.a. Neville, and they got Jericho. They got, SCU, and a lot of young talent as well. They got Joey Janela. Yeah, MJF.
Him.
They got him. So they announced a lot of big names, and there's reported they're trying to get Goldberg to sign. I don't know what that's going to do at his age, but
fucking kidding me?
Yeah, they want Goldberg, is what I've been hearing. They also, they're trying to make this basically WCW. Is kind of what I'm thinking.
Maybe he could be a trainer.
For what? He can't even wrestle.
He'd be the terrible trainer.
That's the only way you would get him in there, wouldn't it? I mean, he can't wrestle anymore.
The only way I'd want to see Goldberg is if he'd finished the WCW feud with Chris Jericho. That never happened. But anyways,
yeah.
But I mean, anyways, though, I mean, I think like it all depends on their TV deal. I really believe, because there's rumors that they're talking to Turner. I don't know if I actually believe them. There's rumors that they have a TV deal in the works. They got a couple of them. I mean, if they get Turner, they're right up there already with WWE as far as Impact.
I've read, in the past that Ted Turner is wanting to be back in the wrestling business. So that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know if Ted Turner personally. I heard that the people who are now in charge of TNT and TBS want to get back in, but really, you never know until you actually see it. So until these guys get a TV deal, it's kind of all it's a lot of hype, but they do have a pay-per-view coming up in May. And now, the other thing I kind of want to mention, though, there's been some rumors that AEW and Impact are going to be forming a partnership. And I think that's very likely with the fact that Jericho signed a non-exclusive contract with AEW. So he can still work New Japan, and he can still work Impact if he wants to. I think it would be a smart idea for both companies, because AEW has no history, and they could do some type of all-star show with the two companies, and I think that would be great. So, plus Impact has the partnership with AAA and Lucha Underground, and it also seems like AEW is not going to be working with Ring of Honor or New Japan. So, this could be pretty big. So I can't wait to see kind of where this goes, but. It is. I mean, I said it last week. It could potentially hurt Impact as far as getting free agents go. Anthem does have a decent amount of money, but I don't know if they got more than the Khan family. The Khan family seems like they're all in on this, and they're willing to spend whatever it takes to get to make their product as big as possible. So we'll see where this goes. It's could potentially be really good for the wrestling business.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, to hop in here, Hurls, there is a rumor that Impact and All Elite Wrestling may partner. That's great. For one, I love the fact that they're not going to be working with New Japan and ROH. I fucking love that. I'm so tired of hearing about New Japan and ROH. It makes me sick in the face just talking about it. But a couple things is one, I mean, I know you said it kind of reminds you when they had Panda Energy, but I think it's more, to me, with the $1 billion backing, it almost sounds WCW-ish. However, who knows about the TV deal and what we're looking at. But if it does go to TNT, like if Turner or TNT or TBS want to get back in the game, fuck them. Like, that makes me sick. Because what an insult to having an established company in WCW that was at a very high peak at one point. But, I mean, you're talking about Anthem trying to get the free agents and Anthem having a lot of money, but I don't think Anthem wants to spend any of that money towards free agency for Impact, which is faltering in ratings. Maybe with this Twitch and Pursuit thing, they'll see that they have more viewers than they think, and maybe they can spike things. But until they get a better TV deal that maybe gives them more money to do so, don't expect Impact to get any. And I think, AEW agents that aren't going to WWE. So that's how I look at that. But yeah, the partnership, like, this would be fucking genius for Impact, because for one, Impact needs Jericho, Omega, Young Bucks, even Cody Rhodes would be back in there. That'd be huge for Impact. Getting Bad Influence back would just be amazing for me on a nostalgia standpoint. But I mean, you think if they were to take the Lucha Brothers, but they're still a partnership, would that really matter then that Impact loses them? Because one, we'd still see them on Impact if they were still going to have that working relationship, and two, that takes their salaries off of Impact. So Impact's not paying them. All Elite Wrestling is paying them, but we're still getting to seeing the Lucha Brothers. So I think, like, if they get this fucking partnership, it's incredible. But if not, they're kind of fucked, because AEW is just going to clean house. So I feel like they're just going to come in, swing that money around, and swing that other thing attached to their hips around, and just clean house. So I hope to God this partnership happens. Stand by. What got any thoughts on this one? No.
Oh, me?
I
Me?
said standby, but Switchblade, we'll go to you then.
I'm so excited about AEW and the prospect of what this could be, because anything that pisses Vince McMahon off enough to where he will actually get off his ass and create a quality product, it gives me joy. And this is a situation where obviously it has pissed him off, because, you know, the whole thing with the AEW merch not being allowed in SmackDown and people being told they had to flip their shirts inside out. Jericho being removed from the intro, the signature that shows before every WWE event, to Jericho being moved to the alumni section. Vince is threatened, and he's upset about this, and that makes me happy. Now, moving on to the whole, maybe them working with the Impact situation, the Callis connection, I think that's really going to be key. That's going to be the linchpin here in them working with AEW, and I think this could benefit Impact because, hey, maybe if they don't have the money to pay big talent and they want more big talent, then AEW and the Khan family could pay, some Impact stars salary, and they could do a talent exchange and just have, like, maybe if Omega signs, have Omega on and put him in what is one of my dream matches of him versus Killer Cross, because both of them kind of have an MMA background. Both of them are good at striking and all that other good stuff, and that would be an excellent match to see. If there's a lot of hope with this situation, and just the signees that they announced, from MJF to Britt Baker to Jericho, and then Pac. Like, Pac, when Pac walked out, I legitimately jumped up and screamed for joy, because I have been wanting to see him back in America, working here so badly. It is ridiculous. Those 14 months that we had to wait for him to finally return back to us in Dragon Gate, were miserable, because I missed him. I love Pac. I love, his in-ring work is just amazing. And the matches that he could have now, like maybe if Ibushi ends up being allowed to, work for AEW, him versus Ibushi. Oh my freaking God, give me that. Him versus either Penta or maybe even Bandito. Like, all of these different possibilities. It just makes you literally salivate at the amount of dream matches that Pac could have. And then Pac versus Adam Page, sign me up. Sign me the F up. Because that's just going to be incredible. Because you remember how insane the Joey Janela match was? Think that, but on steroids.
So, question. So, I know that they've Neville, they call him Pac in AEW. Is it back to Pac?
Yeah, it's back to Pac, and he's actually changed his Twitter handle to Bastard Pac. And he's like a proper bastard. He's a heel. He doesn't care what you think. He doesn't care what you say. He's just a proper bastard, and he's going to tell you what's up. And I love it.
And now that's been announced as the first ever world title match for this company, right?
I believe so. I haven't really heard anything official. I haven't seen anything official. But from what I'm hearing, that's what it's going to be.
So, yeah, in my opinion, I think that's a mistake to do. Maybe it'll be a great match. I'm not going to take anything away from that. But the fact that you're not having a tournament for your first ever title, you're just throwing two names in there. When you have Cody Rhodes, you have both Young Bucks, you have Chris Jericho, you may have Kenny Omega. Why are these two going for the belt instead of having a tournament to see them get there? Like I said, apparently Adam Page has improved. I haven't seen Ring of Honor or him since 2016, but honestly, when I was seeing Adam Page, nothing defined the word vanilla midget more than him, unless it was Caleb Conley per se. But I feel like you should have a tournament or something, but, that's whatever they're going to do. It's their choice, but I feel like they got bigger star value than that.
I think a lot of it is roster depth too. I think that they're not sure if they're going to have that roster depth to be able to, you know, have a tournament like that, a legitimate tournament that's not just like 4 people, you know, because you'd rather, you know, go all in or not. You know, you're going to either do like an amazing tournament, or you're just going to have 2 of your guys that can carry your company do a title match. And if you're not sure about roster depth and how much you're going to have and how much talent you're going to have at this point, because they're still working the kinks out. This is all getting worked out in the next couple of months. You know, just, you know, do that and just start it off. And Adam Page has improved vastly. He was in the G1 this past summer, the G1 28, and he did phenomenally. He had victories over Minoru Suzuki, and other people, and he has improved tremendously. So he's not vanilla or anything anymore. He does really well in the ring. He has an amazing finisher, the rite of passage, which, if you've never seen that move, you need to see it. It's beautiful. And him versus Pac, give me it. But, you know, that's just my thoughts on maybe why they did that and didn't do a tournament.
I think they're also wanting to give them guys, like, recognition for their hard work.
Yeah, that could be the case. And I mean, if that's the case, good for them for not being selfish about it, especially if Cody and the Bucks have a stake in ownership or, you know, creative or whatever the hell you want to call it. Stan McGuy, you've been kind of quiet. Is there anything you wanted to chip in, and then we'll go to Hurls and then we'll move on?
I mean, I agree with what Courtney was saying. I mean, everything she said was pretty much what I was thinking.
Hurls, was there anything you wanted to add in about AEW or anything along these lines you haven't said yet?
The only thing I really want to add is I think it was kind of cool, I guess, that they at their press conference they had a lot of pyro because WWE got rid of their pyro. I guess you could say Impact got rid of their pyro a long time ago, but I think the difference is Impact kind of had to get rid of pyro, whereas WWE just wanted to be cheap asses and get rid of pyro. But I think that was kind of funny that AEW had a ton of pyro at their press conference.
One thing I did forget that I wanted to say, just because, you know, me being the RBE and how I rolled out. You know, she had said that anything that pisses Vince off enough to where they're actually going to put out a good, compelling product. Truthfully, I'm at the point where I hope they never put on a good fucking product again, because I'm at the point where I hate the company so much. And everything about them and their E-Tart fan base to where, like, I don't ever want to see them fucking putting out anything worth watching ever again. So that's just them, because I don't want any positive WWE talk on this show. So fuck WWE. But so we're gonna move on to doing Homecoming. Unless anyone has any news related stuff or anything you want to chime in.
I think we covered most of the big topics for sure.
All right. So look, I'm about to have to sign off for the show. Look, I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on the outcome. I've seen a little bit of Homecoming, but this was the first pay-per-view that Impact's put on in, and I mean, since they stopped, you know, they used to give your monthly pay-per-views, which I didn't order all of them back in the days, but so since, you know, it's moved down to like 2 or 3 pay-per-views a year, this is the first one I haven't gotten, and I was very excited to order the pay-per-view. However, extreme circumstances actually prevented this. I've kind of had them 7-8 weeks from hell, you know, so just to kind of give a brief explanation, I'm not making excuses really, but you know, I've had my tires blow up, tried to get new tires. I have Christmas, which is, you know, is always expensive, but I've basically been screwed out of $2,000 from my job in bonuses. But within the past 4 weeks, I've had it was $900 in vet bills. But then the Thursday before Homecoming, my dog, who is my little old man, he's my sidekick, he basically had a heart attack and died in my hands. I gave him CPR and brought him back to life. We rushed him to the hospital. Little guy's life is saved, but he's taken 7 medications. In between those 2 days and his follow-up visit the next day, it was another $900. So I'm flat fucking broke and couldn't afford the $40. So yeah, and that. And also buying an engagement ring on top of it. So I did propose and get engaged to the love of my life. So that's about the only positive. But I'm sorry I couldn't afford Homecoming. So I hope everyone else didn't I've kind of illegally streamed a little bit of it. I've seen the first 2 matches.
Engaged.
Congrats.
You're going to have a effect again. So. And actually, the people that have listened to the show and been around for a long time have actually been around me when I went through my divorce. And I've kind of just basically spilled my personal life at times all over the show. But I've met the woman who is the woman of my dreams, love of my life, and there's going to be another Mrs. Effect. This one much better than the last. So that's been the only positive to happen lately. But I've seen the first 2 matches. I got an illegal stream while it was happening live. But I was at work. I was doing a lot of stuff and couldn't actually watch. I've seen the main event and kind of just some stuff in between there. So I'll just kind of get my thoughts on the results, and I'm going to let Hurls and the rest of you guys handle the show who have actually seen it. And thank anyone for listening to the show that on the part that I'm on. Keep checking this out. And also thankful to anyone who actually ordered and watched Homecoming on their own with their own hard-earned money. So the first match, it's nice to see Ultimate X back. I think the right person went over for sure. I've been wanting to see Rich Swann as the X Division champion for a while. I think he's deserved it. And truthfully, the Cage X Division title reign, it was not very X Division-esque. It was just like, I feel like Swann's been the guy who should have gotten it for a while. Unfortunately, it sounds like Matt Seidel's going to be out for a while. I'm interested and curious to see who they throw at Rich Swann for the X Division, but I think we're going to have an actual legitimate X Division resembling the X Division from here on out. Second match, the right team for sure went over. It's awesome to see our buddy Rosemary return. That was awesome. Not only was I expecting we'd get Rosemary and Sue Young, but I figured we'd get Allie to return to Rosemary. It doesn't look that way, so not only are we going to get Rosemary versus Sue Young, but possibly the Rosemary and Allie we've been dying for to happen right away. So I'm super excited about that, and everyone that knows this show knows how much we adore Rosemary and the interview we had with her. Eddie Edwards versus Moose. For one, this was pretty obvious. Eddie was finally going to go over. However, I had this hunch, and I love this about Impact, is if you read anything about on my columns and stuff, I've always said, like, they need to go outside of the box and do stuff differently in wrestling. Everything since, even before Bound for Glory, has screamed Alicia's going to turn on Eddie and be done with him and sick of him. When she came in and grabbed that kendo stick, I'm like, yep, it's obvious. And then, boom, she hits Moose. Fucking awesome. Like, it duped me for one, which I've been wanting to see something like that happen. But it was awesome. She finally got over, finally got revenge. And it was awesome to see Alicia do that. That was actually one of the highlights of the show for me. What match was next, guys? Willie Mack and Callahan was next, right?
No, it was actually Eddie Edwards and Moose.
Well, that's what I was just talking about. What was after Eddie and Eddie and Moose?
You're right. Callahan and Mack.
Yeah. Right guy went over again. So I love Willie Mack. I'm glad that he's a fixture on there. Sammy Callahan's my Wrestler of the Year. I know there's a lot of killer crosstalk, but I think Callahan or Eli Drake should be the next world champ. Sammy Callahan, not only Wrestler of the Year for me, Wrestler of the Year by everyone voting. Him and Pentagon was Feud of the Year and Match of the Year at Slammiversary. So can't wait to see what happens with Callahan going forward. What was after that? Was it the title match, tag team title match?
Monsters Ball. Eli Drake and Abyss.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. I was hoping Eli was going to go over. I'm glad he did. I want to see Eli move forward, but honestly, like the promos he's done with Joseph Parkett and the hardcore stuff has been awesome. Of course, the return of Raven really made me happy. I was kind of hoping maybe we'd see him, but I want Eli to move back into the main event scene because I think this guy is the best in the world at what he does. Was it the tag team championship match next?
Yes.
Okay. Stunned as hell. It's to who went over, but I also I figured leading into the weekend until that rumor broke about AEW going after the Lucha Brothers, I figured there's 0% chance LAX is going to go over. But it's nice to see Impact actually put over their own guys, their kind of homegrown team other than the CZW stuff, as the best tag team in the world. And I love the fucking fact that they've called it the best tag team in the world because I've hated Impact not kind of putting themselves over as the top because they've always kind of made themselves sound second or third fiddle when it's that's not going to do anything. It's awesome. I love LAX, man. They're so good. So it's nice to see them get the respect they do. It's just Jesus Christ. So someone should come over and take the tag team titles off of them. Not the Lucha Brothers. I don't know who, but also with this AEW partnership, Lucha Brothers versus Young Bucks on Impact Wrestling. Let's see that happen. The only other match that I thought was a complete given was Taya Valkyrie taking the Knockouts Championship. I think she's the only established knockout who's been there for a while that hasn't been the champ. I'm not talking about Kiera Hogan because she's not there yet. And neither is the new girl that was a tag team partner. But it's nice to see Taya win it. I feel they do the job thing together. Gail Kim versus Tessa Blanchard is going to be pretty big. I know that's a given as to where it's leading to. And that's between the Rosemary feud and possibly Gail versus Tessa. That's two huge things for the Knockouts division, and it's nice to see the Knockouts division be like on a high where it hasn't been. You know what I mean? Like when the Knockouts division first started, it was amazing, and I feel like we're finally getting back to that. The only thing I worry and wonder about is like, where does Taya, our actual champion, go as far as feud-wise? Because it seems like there's no one there for her now. But props to Taya. The main event was awesome. I feel like the right guy probably went over, although I feel both of these guys need a heel turn. The ending was great. Killer Cross coming out there, because he didn't really have an effect on the match like we were all expecting. So it was nice to see him go out there, and he's wrecking shop. And as the swing babe over here is continue to bring up, he's doing amazing work, and Killer Cross is definitely a star. So big props to the show. Can't wait for Impact this Thursday. Thank you guys for having me back on the HeelCast, Hurls. It's all you, my man.
All right. So I guess we'll just restart it a little bit, and we'll go over basically match by match and what we thought. So the first match that we had was the X Division Ultimate X match. Rich Swann versus Ethan Page versus Jake Chris versus Trey Miguel. I thought this match was pretty good. I don't think it was the best Ultimate X I've ever seen, but it was a solid opener. And I agree with Raven Effect. I think the right guy did win. I think that honestly was the only choice you could really do right now. No offense to any of the other three. I just didn't. I think booking wise, it made the most sense to put the title on Rich Swann. So what'd you? Let's go switch, babe. What'd you think?
Honestly, I wanted Trey Miguel to win it because the whole thing with the Rascals is on fire. Like, that whole thing has just exploded. So I really wanted it to be Trey, but I can understand why they would put it on Rich, because Rich, has had that WWE, exposure, and he's kind of the bigger name. So I kind of understand why they did it, but I still would have put it on a fresh face of Trey Miguel, who is amazingly talented. Some of the stuff that he pulls off in that ring, I'm sitting there scratching my head. Wait, huh? And so, I really wanted him to win, but I can see why they put it on Rich. I can see for sure. And the match was good. The match was pretty good. I mean, there were a couple of spots like where I was like, but, I think they did the best with what they could, and I think that maybe next time they need to, focus on maybe true cruiserweight type people, like people that are more like a Trey Miguel. I know the X Division is supposed to be wide open, but let's kind of focus on those high flyers and what they can really do, because, like the insane crap that they could pull off if they really, just put all their high flyers in one Ultimate X match.
Yeah, I agree. Before you go, stand by. I agree. I think the whole Brian Cage run was a little underwhelming. So I'm glad to see it's back with an actual X Division. Go ahead, stand by.
I mean, I like that match, and I agree that Swann deserved it. But, I kind of wanted to see either Miguel or Jake Chris win. Because, those two are good too. But, like y'all said, like she said, Swann has that recognition. He could carry the X Division to, new heights, really. And, I agree that there should be the high flyers in the X Division, not like Cage. Cage is good, but he's not an X Division guy. It's kind of like Samoa Joe was, but they're really not X Division. They're just powerful guys.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, Cage can do some crazy things for his, you know, his weight and his size, which is cool. But I just think like it was so hard for any X Division guy to credibly beat him unless you had a Samoa Joe. But you know they don't. I mean, he had some great matches with Phoenix for that title, and you know Matt Sydal put up some good fights, but ultimately, you just saw Brian Cage kind of dominate the division, and it kind of made it a little stale. Like, if you're just going to beat everybody and nobody really challenges you, there's not a lot to look forward to. So I'm glad that the whole Option C thing kind of came in and kind of gives the new division a fresh start in my book. So,
yeah.
You know. But let's go on to the second match of the night, which was the tag team match. It was Allie and Su Yung versus Jordan Grace and Kiera Hogan. This match also, I thought, had the right booking to it. I think you had to keep the heat going with Allie and Su Yung. And I knew Rosemary would come back before the pay-per-view. I figured they were going to get the beat down on her. So I thought that was actually good booking. It still kind of looks like Rosemary's not quite ready yet to do the full combat, full wrestling yet. She seemed to move a little gingerly. She didn't want to, tweak anything. I thought the match was pretty good. I thought Su Yung was over, very over. Whenever she would do a move, the crowd popped. And I thought this crowd, by the way, was awesome. I thought it was one of the best Impact crowds in a long time. I think they popped for a lot of things, so that was great. Switch Babe, what'd you think of the second match of the night, this tag team match?
I loved it. I loved, the whole Rosemary thing. I mean, her coming back, I legitimately screamed so loud. I have cats, and my cat ran out of the living room. I screamed that loud when I saw her pop out of that coffin. I love Rosemary. I love the character. I love the whole Allie thing. I love Su Yung. I just love that whole thing. Like, I'm a happy goth chick at heart. So anything that explores the dark and twisted, sign me up. And, I think maybe Rosemary may not be ready to come back, full force, but I think maybe they're going to bring her back in some capacity to deal with this whole thing of Allie has gone down, and now Allie is basically possessed by the devil at this point. And she's going to have to guide Allie through, either being a demon or guide Allie into finding the light. And it's just a matter of which way they go. And I'm so looking forward to this. I was so happy to see Rosemary back. Like, I love Rosemary and Allie together. I love their Masters of the Multiverse YouTube channel. I just love that whole thing. So just to see it be brought back a little bit with Rosemary's return was just awesome.
Stand by.
So that was a good tag team. I mean, I like the whole Allie thing. She's going into the darkness, and I don't really like that Rosemary came back. But I mean, I don't think she's ready to wrestle, but I hope they actually start a group with her, Rosemary, and her, Allie, and Su Yung. That'd be good. And have James Mitchell guiding them. That kind of would be something that's not been done. Him guiding ladies to, explore the darkness.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see more James Mitchell, and I'm also hoping we would get more Undead Realm, and we really didn't, which is surprising from Bound for Glory to Homecoming, because I kept hearing reports that, this whole thing was going to be done more often, and it really hasn't. So I'm just kind of wondering when's the next time we're going to get that. So I'm hoping, it happens again, because I think that was pretty entertaining. And
I want to see the Undead Realm again. I want to. That was amazing. That was like Lucha Underground type stuff. And I love Lucha. I love the whole, the supernatural stuff. I love it. And I want to see them bring that back, So come on, Impact. If you're listening, bring back the Undead Realm. Bring it back.
Exactly. I think it should be kind of like what the Hardys did, where you had a broken Hardy segment almost every week. I'm just kind of shocked like they wouldn't do that Undead Realm more often. So I think they really should. I think they're kind of dropping the ball on that with not doing it as much. I think we had like one segment since Bound for Glory, and that wasn't much. It was just a real small tidbit with James Mitchell. So hopefully we'll get that more now that Rosemary's back, and I'm hoping for it because I think that would definitely increase the ratings. I think people the casual viewer likes that sort of stuff. See, casual viewers, they're not like really all about wrestling matches. They're about storyline stuff, and I think that's a perfect way to keep that going. So hopefully we see it in the future, but. Moving on, we had a Falls Count Anywhere match. Eddie Edwards versus Moose. Eddie Edwards got the win. I liked the match, and I thought Moose looked like $1,000,000. He took a lot of crazy bumps, but I loved the ending. Alicia Edwards coming out there and basically being just as crazy as Eddie. I just love that. I thought that was great, and it gives Alicia Edwards a character moving forward. I think she desperately needed. So let's switch it up here. Let's go to the standby guy for the first one.
I like that match. It was pretty good, and to see Alicia actually do something besides gripe at Eddie. That was the best thing she could have done. I mean, that's the best thing Impact could have done with her. Like, get her involved. Make her, have character. That was pretty good. And the whole match, I mean, Eddie, he's good. And he brings a lot, to work with. I mean, so he's pretty good. And I like the fact that he won. But, I don't think that feud is over. Because, just too good of a, feud to end right now. You could actually go cage matches with that feud.
Switch Babe.
She left. Did she leave?
No.
She's here. She's here. Yep, she's here. Switch Bay, what did you think of the Eddie Edwards versus Moose match?
Oh. Crazy as fuck. I mean, honestly, that match was insane. Like, I'm sitting there like what Eddie and Moose were doing to each other, people go to prison for. I mean, it was insanity. And then with Alicia coming out, I was like, whole time it's just been like this power. Give her some power by, having her go out there and whip up on Moose.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what. I mean, she got a huge pop. I mean, when she came out, I think a lot of people thought she may turn on Eddie, and like we, as the HeelCast, were kind of going over that ourselves. We were like, okay, she's turning heel, but this was the other way they could have went with it, and I think it worked really well, and she got a huge pop. I think it's over, and I think Impact needs to keep doing that. So very, 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 very cool. Right person won the match, I think. So I think, so at this point, I think Impact got the booking right for all three, at least in my opinion, I thought they did. So, okay, so fourth match. This is the match that kind of like caught me by surprise. There wasn't a lot of build up for it. It was only announced a week before, or not even a week, 3 days before the pay-per-view. It was Sami Callihan versus Willie Mack. Sami Callihan got the win, but man, did Willie Mack get the crowd behind him. I thought this was a really good match, and I think it surprised a lot of people. Switch Babe, what'd you think?
Which match was this again? I'm sorry, I had to look at something really fast.
No, that's fine. It was Sami Callihan versus Willie Mack.
I liked it. I love Sammy, you know, but I mean, the whole thing, it was, for me, like, the match was kind of random, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Like I was like, okay, well, why are we fighting here? You know, like, what's the blood feud? You know, but you know, I liked it. It just, you know, like, for me, like if a match doesn't really have like a big epic storyline behind it, you know, like, I'm not really that invested in it. You know, so that was kind of like my blind spot match of the whole pay-per-view was, which I hate to say that because I freaking love Sammy. I love OVE. I love those boys, you know, so it kind of sucked that, you know, it was kind of the match that, you know, I kind of didn't pay that much attention to.
Stand by.
I liked the match. I mean, it was just thrown in to it. So, I mean, that's the only thing I didn't like. But, like, those two actually put on a good match.
Yeah. I mean, the crowd was really behind. I mean, Sammy's a heel. They were behind him, obviously. But Willie Mack, they were really cheering for him to make that comeback and get the victory. So I thought that was, pretty cool. I thought the match delivered more than I thought it was. I had very low expectations, and I thought it outperformed those expectations. That's probably why I like this match so much. But, you know, for having not a lot of build to it, I thought it did pretty well. So, the fifth match, Monsters Ball. Eli Drake versus Abyss. Eli Drake got the win. It was pretty brutal. It definitely saw Eli Drake, you know, go through some tacks and, stuff that you probably didn't think he'd be able to do. I will say I was a little disappointed we didn't get a Raven or a Tommy Dreamer at all. I thought they should have brought him out, especially this being in the Asylum. Standby. What did you think of the match?
I agree with you. They should have brought Dreamer or Raven out. But, like, that was a good match. And I got to give it to the ref. He actually took took one for the team, actually. He got some tacks in his eye, whatever. But, like, that was a good match. I mean, even the ref got involved, really. But he didn't mean to, but, like, they threw tacks in his eyes. That was, it was a good match. I mean, I think the right guy won.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if Abyss wins, it's just a nostalgia win because they kept saying how he was born in the Asylum. I mean, Eli Drake's a main event player at this point. He needs to keep the ball rolling. Hopefully he gets into some main event feuds going soon. But Switch Babe, what'd you think of this match?
Another one, like, it was like back-to-back insanity kind of, the way that I paid attention, because I kind of lulled off with the Mac and Callahan match. So for me, it was kind of like back-to-back insanity, like seeing Eli Drake just whip that oar across Abyss's skull and just crack it and break it. And I was sitting here, I went, holy fucking shit, Batman. He just broke an oar over his freaking skull. And just that whole match was insane. And it was what you come to expect from a Monsters Ball match. And I commend Abyss. He has been with Impact for years, like almost since the beginning. And, to see him go in the Hall of Fame this year and, get to go back to his birthplace, the Asylum, and have that match, even though he didn't win,
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a cool moment.
A full circle. It's one of those you go the whole 360 full circle moments that, like, if this is the end for him or if he's going to retire after this, like, this is perfect. It's just the way to ride off into the sunset for Abyss and for him to maybe, work with Impact behind the scenes, because I think he would, be a tremendous asset in that regard. Behind the scenes, working with talent, helping them learn how to do promos and all the other stuff that he used to do so well. I think he would be key in helping a lot of the younger talent, especially.
Yeah, definitely. I think the whole 20 chair shots to the back by Abyss, I thought that was really cool. It made it that much more brutal. It was a brutal match, and that's exactly what you expect with the Monsters Ball. So that was pretty cool.
I don't think he needed to win in order for that match to, either way, he could have, Abyss could have won, but I don't think he needed to win to actually go out on top, because he's actually been there for a long time.
Yeah, that's true. He was a former champion. He's former tag team champion, former X Division, and former Legends too. So, yeah, very cool. 6th match we had, World Tag Team titles, Lucha Brothers versus LAX. LAX ends up retaining. This was a match to me where, gosh, I did not know who was going to win. I was at the edge of my seat every time these guys would do something. And I must say, Phoenix might be one of the most athletic wrestlers I have ever seen. He is by far one of the, if not the best luchador on the wrestling scene today. The stuff that guy does and the way he makes it look like everybody does.
He makes it look easy.
Oh, he does. And everybody does an outside dive these days, okay? Almost everybody. But the way he does it, he makes it look way more intense, way faster, just way more smooth than anybody else. And it just stands out.
Off the ropes, too. Dude, nobody can do that.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. I had a little problem with this. I think LAX has had the titles a little too long. They're kind of dominating the division. They have been. This is actually one of my complaints with Impact, probably since you had the Hardys and the Decay feud, is you have one tag team that just really stands out and dominates, and then there's nobody else. And I thought the Lucha Brothers were the best time to get the belts off of LAX. And I know there's still time. They're going to Mexico this weekend, actually, I believe. But I just really wanted to see a title change here. Not that I have anything against LAX. I think they're phenomenal. They're amazing talents. But I think now, this match would have been a good time to see them take the titles off of LAX. But it didn't happen. But the match itself, I think, may have been a 5-star match. It was that good. Switch Babe, what'd you think?
I even tweeted right before this match began. I said, this is going to be the match that steals the freaking show tonight. And then after the match was over, I even quoted my tweet and I said, this aged well, because that match was great. It was the insanity that I expected from all of those guys. It was just, I loved it. And, to see the fact that, they let LAX keep it, and not give it to the Lucha Bros, something, because LAX, that whole tag team from going back, years back, hasta la muerte y después. I love it, So the whole match was just insane. It was just so much insanity and so much good stuff that just I couldn't keep track. You know what I'm saying? You ever have one of those good matches where they have so much good stuff happen, you just can't keep track, and so the only thing you're left with when you watch it is just wow. That's all I'm left with, is just wow. They did that good.
Yeah, I agree. Standby, what'd you think?
I like that match, and my thoughts are yours, Matt. They do. LAX has had them for a while, and I was hoping that Lucha Brothers would actually take them, but I'm okay with how the outcome was.
Okay. Moving on, we're going to go to the Knockouts Championship match. Tessa Blanchard versus Taya Valkyrie with Gail Kim, the special guest referee. This is where I thought Impact nailed the booking again. It was predictable, but I thought I liked it. I think everybody still looks strong in this. and it sets up what I've been asking for on Twitter. I tweeted it to Gail Kim. I don't know if she read it. I hope she did, but whatever I tweeted came true, or at least looks like it's coming true. But we saw Taya Valkyrie defeat Tessa Blanchard and become the new Knockouts champion. There was definitely some back and forth between Tessa Blanchard and Gail Kim, which I think is going to set up a match. That's exactly what I tweeted. But I loved it. As dominating as Tessa Blanchard is, I thought it was Taya's time, and I think this was a good way to do it. And it makes Tessa still look very strong. I enjoyed this match. Switch Babe, what'd you think of this match?
I loved it. I love Taya. I love Tessa. Tessa is my queen. I love her. I'm a heel girl. I love a vicious, no-nonsense, just arrogant, cocky heel like Tessa is. And she just pulls it off so well. You know, and I would have actually, like, I love both of them, and so it's kind of hard. Like, it's one of those situations where your heart is split, you know? Like you want to see Tessa continue to be what I call her, the Tessinator, because she's like the Terminator. She keeps going. Like, you cannot stop her. You know, and then I have Taya, La Wera Loca. And so, you know, it was kind of hard for me to pick. And then with Gail involved, which Gail is one of my heroes because she was the one that kind of got the Knockouts division started in TNA back in the day, now Impact. So, you know, I just loved it all. I loved the Gail Kim involvement because it was like, even though as much as I love Tessa, you know, heels do have to get comeuppance every once in a while. And that was kind of her comeuppance, you know? Like, she had to deal with the consequences of, you know, her continuously trying to screw people over just so that she can keep that title. You know, it was her comeuppance, and it came in the form of Gail Kim. And so now, does that set up a Tessa and Gail feud? Does that set up a feud where, you know, Gail kind of helps Taya out to deal with her? To deal with Tessa, you know, like, what does it do? Like, there are so many flowchart possibilities with this. It's ridiculous. And they pulled it off well. It was done great. And fantastic match.
Stand by.
I like the outcome of that match. I mean, Taya, I love Taya. Taya's pretty good. And I love Tessa. And I'm a heel person too, so like that whole match was pretty good. But I like that, you know, that Taya actually did win. She's deserving of it. I mean, and if the feud if a match between Gail and Tessa happens, that would be awesome. I love Gail, and you know, she's really good still. I think she's got it still. I mean, she retired, I think, because of health issues. But like, I think she would make a good match with her and Tessa.
All right. Moving on to the main event, we saw Brian Cage cash in his X Division title for Option C and get a world title shot at Johnny Impact. I thought that I liked the booking here as well. I thought this was the right choice. I thought it was going to go down differently because after Bound for Glory, I had no idea if the Austin Aries thing was a shoot or not, or it was a work. But turns out looks to be a shoot since he didn't show up here. So Johnny Impact won the match. Some of his Survivor buddies got involved in it. The match itself I thought was pretty good, but I thought there was a lot of sloppiness to it at times, and especially the ending was a little sloppy. I don't know if he was trying to reverse a drill claw or just a suplex, but whatever it was, it just didn't work out, and it looked a little sloppy at the end. But overall, though, there was some really cool stuff. I thought it was a little too early for Brian Cage to win the title. Not saying he can't win it in the future, but I just thought it was a little too early. Stand by. What do you think of the main event?
I liked it. I mean, there was a lot of sloppiness, but other than all the sloppiness in that match, that was a pretty good match. I agree with you. Cage isn't ready to be the champion, but eventually he probably will. And, like, to me, Cage and Cross, that would be one of the a good match. But, like, it would be, well, you know, for a number one contender or a three-way with Johnny Impact, I mean, for the title, that would probably be a good match right there. But, like, I like Cage. Just like I said, I don't think he's ready. And like you said, he's not ready. But, like, eventually he will be.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to add one thing too. The after the match shenanigans with Killer Cross, I didn't mind. I didn't mind the whole power bomb, you know, onto the fans. I just wish Killer Cross would have beat up Johnny Impact a little bit more. I think it would have made him even look more devastating, and I thought they should have done that more. I know he just kind of punched him, but if he would have took a chair and, like, you know, really wailed on Johnny Impact, I think that would have been just a great booking decision right there. But Switch Babe, I know you're the Killer Cross fan, and I haven't let you spoke on the main event yet, so give me your thoughts.
Okay, first off, I hated the Survivor people at ringside. I hated that. I hated the screwy finish because we just went off the whole Austin Aries fiasco, and we don't need another screwy finish. We need to, you know, uplift that belt a little bit more because that belt was kind of hurt in that whole situation with Austin Aries. You know? Like, we've had, like, this main event, and then he just walks off, and then now you're going to do this with, like, Survivor castmates that, you know, they couldn't beat anybody's ass on the Impact roster. You know those skinny little twigs couldn't do anything. It's not believable. It's just not believable. And the whole thing with Johnny Impact, whatever his name is this week, Mr. I've got more aliases than a gangster's rap sheet. You know, like it's time for Johnny to let a company be had by someone else. Because everywhere he goes, he takes it over. He goes into Blackcraft Wrestling, and he's Johnny Blackcraft. You know, he goes wherever he is, and it's like he can't find one identity. And that gets on my nerves about him. I don't know why. It just gets under my skin. Because it's like, be yourself. Be John Hennigan, or if you want to go by that, or if you want to go by John Morrison, or whatever you want to go by. But just go by one freaking name, dude. And I can't stand Johnny's whole persona at the moment. I just can't. But, you know, Brian Cage, I love Brian Cage. He's a phenomenal athlete. He can do the high-flying stuff as well as be a powerhouse. And for his humongous, ginormous size, that is just incredible. And I would have liked to have seen, actually, Brian win. Because here is why. Back when Cross was on the Independents, him and Brian Cage actually had a match, and Cross defeated him. So there's history there. There's some breadcrumbs to go back to, back in Las Vegas and the West Coast. So why not have Cage win the belt and then have Cross either feud with Taya and Johnny, or have Cross go after Cage and have maybe there be an alliance with Cage and Johnny and Taya where they're trying to fight Cross. Something different. Let's mix things up. You know, and Cross could be a world champion. They could put the belt on him tomorrow, and he would do well with it. Cross, their special show they did that was basically for him, that was Final Hour, had his Cross logo in the Final Hour logo. That show popped a rating. It did well, and he's bringing in interest. You know, like like, I kind of keep an eye on, like, how he's doing, and, like, I'll look at his Twitter followers, and I've noticed that he's gained, like, 1,000 followers within the past few months. And he's experiencing growth. He brings in different types of people, like people from all different types of backgrounds like him. Ladies love him. I mean, you've got a winner. And why not, with this new deal with Pursued and the whole Twitch thing, ride that wave and ride the wave that Cross has provided you with and put the belt on him? I mean, I know a lot of people don't think that he's ready, but I really do think he's ready. And I think he's ready to help carry that company. Ring Warriors already put their title on him. And, their season finale was just put on Amazon Prime. And I watched that, and it was a pretty good show. So, there is precedent for him, having a title on a national television program. It may be smaller and on a smaller scale, but I believe that he really can do it. And I didn't like the screwy finish. I just thought we just had a pay-per-view, and with the screwy finish like that, we don't need another one. We need some solidification, some stabilization, and in order to do that, you have to not have a Dusty finish. I know you're in the Asylum, and Dusty was a big part of the Asylum, and maybe that was their tribute to Dusty, was doing a Dusty finish, but, come on. We gotta get our act together a little bit in that regard, of having main events on pay-per-views that people are paying money for, because that pay-per-view was $40, okay? If you're paying $40, you want to see something end decisively. You don't want to have something end in a Dusty finish or a screwy finish where, you just don't know what happened. And Cross's post-match beatdown, I was like, what? When I saw Taya start to fight him, I just legitimately laughed, because I'm like, you think you're going to fight Cross, Taya? You are La Wera Loca. You crazy. And then, just the imagery of her just like going and planting on all of those fans was just insane. And Cross in that kingpin suit with the trench coat over it, just with that rage that he can just unleash. That last image that you saw, like, I legitimately thought the pay-per-view was over and Cross wasn't going to come out, and I was getting pissed off. And then they pulled an NXT. You know how NXT does that sometimes, where they'll show the little inbox credit, and you think, oh, it's over, and then it's like, oh shit, here comes something else happening. And when I saw Cross come out, I was like, uh-oh, shit's about to get interesting. And, just seeing him in that kingpin suit, which he looked good in. I was like, I even tweeted him, I was like, you look good in white. Because he's normally in just darker colors and stuff. And I was like, nice change of pace. And, just that rage that he showed, like, that scared me a little bit. Because I'm sitting there, and I love Cross, and, I love the scary stuff. But that legitimately, like, I was sitting there like, oh, shit, they pissed him off. I better go hide under a rock because I don't want to lose my C6 vertebrae.
So, why don't we say what we thought of Homecoming overall? Did it live up to your expectations? Was there something that you wanted to see or you didn't get to see? Stand by. What was your overall thoughts on Homecoming?
I liked it. I mean, it was a pretty good pay-per-view. I mean, I've watched WWE pay-per-views, and it was better than some of the WWE pay-per-views they put on. So, I mean, overall, like, if I had to give a grade, it'd be a 7.
That's good. Switch Babe, overall thoughts on Homecoming?
I loved it. The only lull spot for me was the Mac and Callahan match. Everything else was great. The only thing that I didn't like was just the way that they finished that title match. And that kind of deducted a little bit. So I guess I'll give it 1 out of 10, I'd give it about an 8.6. And, somewhere in that, it was like it was an 86% paper, Like you had like some parts of it that needed to be, a little bit better. But overall, they did a good job. And the Impact pay-per-views that they have done, from last year to now, I have fully enjoyed. I fully love them. Like, I sit there and I have fun. And those 3 hours, they fly by. Like, I was sitting there live tweeting this thing and then fully immersed in it. And then all of a sudden I look up, and it's over. And I'm like, damn, I don't want it to be over. Give me something else. Because Impact has been doing so well this year. Or the last year, I'm sorry. I'm still in 2018, guys. I'm still having to adjust to 2019. So I'm still kind of like we're still in 2018 mode. But yeah, like I said, like they have done so well with those pay-per-views, and I have ordered every single one. I have supported them because I believe that if Impact had fan support and fans really, bought the pay-per-views, subscribed to the Twitch channel, gave them that extra revenue, because if a minimum, I think it's about it's either $6 or $9. I'm not sure how much it is to subscribe to the Twitch channel a month. If you have 100,000 people and it's like $10, say, if you from our baseline of 100,000 viewers are about what we're about at right now, or what we were at with Pop, you bring that in with the Twitch deal, that's an extra $1 million in revenue a month that you can pay talent with, that you can improve your production equipment with, and that you can maybe put aside to maybe have some more bargaining power when you do go up for the next negotiation with a TV network. It's extra income. And I think that if fans would realize that, Impact would stand a fighting chance. If they would just realize that, hey, this is a great company, they have great talent, great workers. You want them to make it because you want these workers to be able to have a place to have a job. Why not support it? And so I've done that. Every single pay-per-view they put on last year, I bought. Every single Impact I've watched, with the exception of the last two of last year, because they were just recap shows, and I've already seen that,
Right.
So, but, Impact is doing well. Impact is going to have a good year. I think the 2019 is the year that Impact solidifies the rebirth that they experienced last year. I think that this year we're going to see a lot of changes, and with AEW possibly partnering, things can only look up for Impact. And a lot of the fans that are really, scared about AEW and all that other stuff, I really don't think we need to worry, because with the Don Callis connection to Kenny Omega and Cody and the Bucks and the Elite, I really don't think that they would set out to purposely hurt Don Callis and a company that he's helping run. I really don't think that they would legitimately set out to say, okay, we're just going to say, screw you, Callis. So I think that there is going to be something in the works when it comes to that. And I think Impact is just going to do great in 2019.
Yeah, it's my overall thoughts on Homecoming. I probably give it a 7.5 to an 8.0. So we'll just go 7.7 right in the middle there. The one thing I thought they missed an opportunity on was maybe bringing some of the early Asylum guys out just to kind of do like a tribute, or I don't know. I was hoping for some surprises. I thought Raven would be out in the Eli Drake Abyss match, and I just thought we'd get a little bit more of that nostalgia factor. Maybe bring some guys like Chris Harris out or Jerry Lynn, just some guys that were there from the beginning. I think they missed a little bit opportunity there, but that's all right though. It was still, the matches were amazing. I thought, you could really tell the product, all, every guy and girl, they put in some great hard work, and it was a great pay-per-view. And like you, Switch Babe, I do order all the pay-per-views, and I do have the GWN, so I can watch the one-night-only pay-per-views, and I watch the Twitch monthly specials as well. So I'm a diehard Impact Wrestling fan. I do try to keep up with WWE. I don't really have time much for New Japan if I see Ring of Honor, I'll watch it. But I am interested in AEW. That's for sure. I'm going to definitely see what they do. But overall, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for Impact's 2019, despite maybe some negative feedback on the Pursuit stuff. But I'm glad they made that announcement about Twitch. So. Well, anyways, it was great having you on for the first time, Switch Babe, for the HeelCast. I hope we can do it more often.
I would love to. I would love to be on more. I would, any time that I get to discuss my passion for pro wrestling, which is my first love in life. Wrestling has, been my first love for I don't know how long. It's been the thing that has got me through some pretty dark times in my life, and any chance that I have to speak on it, I will do it. And it's better if you guys hear it than my husband, who really doesn't give a damn about it.
And of course, standby podcaster, you were right place, right time. Obviously, that's the only time that you ever come on. Hopefully we'll get you on a little more. Maybe this year you'll finally become the ready podcaster instead of the standby podcaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like being on here when y'all have me.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to hear different reactions from people all over the United States, and hopefully we'll get some people that are not from the United States on pretty soon, because we definitely have some Canadian friends, and yeah, we got some Australian friends. Obviously, Robert's from the U.S., but he's from Puerto Rico, so we got all different types of people on here, and hopefully we'll keep that going in 2019, and hopefully we'll get some more wrestlers to come on and give some interviews. But like I said, I'm not going to spoil it, but we got one coming on next week, so that's going to be very fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a blast. So, all right. It was a pleasure doing the HeelCast with you guys. We'll check you guys out next week for Hurls, for Raven Effect, for Impact Dude, for FK9, for Larkin, for Robert. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Peace, love, and rock on, babes.